Presiding Officer and Senators, good morning. As you wind down this session of Senate and look forward to your summer break, I want to encourage you to always give service with a spirit of excellence, whether you are beginning a project or at its conclusion. 2 Corinthians 8 and 7 states, "Now as you excel in everything, in faith, speech, knowledge, and all diligence, and in your love for us, excel above also in grace." As leaders, never forget your why. Why did you seek leadership? Why did you want to serve your country or to take on responsibilities at a national level? Serving with a spirit of excellence means that no matter how hard it gets, or when the challenges comes, or even when times are going well, you will keep focus on your why and your vision for giving national service. Colin Powell said, "If you're going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception, it is a prevailing attitude." Titus 2 and 7 states, "Show yourself in all aspects to be a model of good works, and in your teaching show integrity and dignity." Secondly, serve and lead with integrity, compassion, and a spirit of unity. Always be men and women whose words match with your actions. The Bible states, "Let your yes be yes and your no be no." Never be duplicitous, because this confuses people whom you lead or try to take direction from you. There will be times when discipline or hard decisions may have to be taken by you, the leader. And you may experience persecution, but if you remain consistent, persons will respect you as a firm but fair person. Joyce Meyer states, "Integrity means that you are the same in public as you are in private." And finally, always strive to foster unity, to develop others, and to positively impact the lives of those on your team. If you are going far and you want to accomplish much, you need a team. It is imperative that your leadership style seeks to cultivate the best in those whom you lead and to continue and to strengthen the whole. The concept of self-made persons can be so hollow because we are forged by the negative and positive experiences of life. All experiences involve people. You are shaped by life, and in turn, you have the wonderful opportunity to motivate, mentor, and to empower others. Never get drunk on power or believe that you have all the answers. Rather, listen, encourage, and work with your team and strive to move them forward to higher heights in an excellent manner. Edith Wharton says, "There are two ways of spreading light. Be the candle or the mirror that reflects it." Hebrews 10 and 24 states, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds." Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for the service given by our senators during this past year. As they conclude the sessions and move into their summer break, may they continue to be men and women who serve their country in an excellent manner. Help them to never forget their leadership why, and to always display integrity and to be wonderful developers of strong, cohesive, positive teams. Place a hedge of protection around them and their families during the summer, and help them to have a time of rest and refreshment. And may each of them grow closer to you. Bless, preserve, and keep them, and bless and protect our country during this hurricane season. In the precious name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Please join in the prayer of our Lord. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Good morning, and again, it's good to see all of you senators back this morning. This morning, just as we get started, I just want to share with the senators that we know that we live in one of the greatest countries in the world. These islands known as the islands of the Bahamas. Last night, I had occasion to meet with some colleagues at a certain event, and by surprise, Lady Pinlin showed up. And it was wonderful to see a mother of this country at the age of over 90 years old, really looking like she's really only about 60 years old. It is a wonderful thing to be a Bahamian woman. I've often said to the senators in here, I appreciate their presence. I often speak of their beauty because nothing encapsulates the beauty of these countries like the beauty of a Bahamian woman. This morning, I looked in the gallery. I saw some young folks coming in, and the truth is, I was looking for a male because it would be nice to see if only one in the midst. I saw from the way they were dressed and the way they presented themselves, certainly something good was happening. But I'm waiting for the male to come in. But we do have some students, summer students that work with our parliamentary colleagues this morning, and I want to share some of those names with you. We have Carolyn Nairn, who is from the University of the Bahamas. LaShante Taylor from C.I. Gibson Senior High. Danielle Strapp from Queens College. Haley Fowler, who graduated from R.M. Bailey. And graduation is always a wonderful thing. And then we have Miss Margot Gibson, who is from my alma mater, St. John's College, one of the best schools in New Providence. Oh, I tell you. But again, ladies, we want to say welcome to the Senate for the time that you spend with us, and I trust that you were having a good summer session. I found that every summer job I had, I met a lot of folks. Some were left, some were right, some were indifferent, and others were just plain different. But those are the things that help to mold you and help you to become the type of adult you want to be as you move along in this road of life. So once again, welcome. Senators, when we suspended yesterday, we suspended at second reading of bills. Our further second reading of bills. The chair recognizes Senator the Honorable Michael Alcides.
Thank you, Senator Roel Turner, presiding officer. Good morning, senators. Mr. Senator Roel Turner, I intend to move for second reading and committal of the National Health Insurance Bill, but we will also take this opportunity to debate the National Health Insurance Specified Chronic Diseases Prescription Drug Fund Bill, the Health Promotion and Wellness Bill, the Dental Professions Bill, and the Pharmacy Amendment Bill, as all of these bills touch on the health sector. I think I said the Pharmacy Amendment Bill as well. Yes, the Pharmacy Amendment Bill. Before I begin, Mr. Presiding Officer, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to join you in welcoming the summer students to the chamber. Welcome and thank you for spending these few weeks with us. We hope that you have some knowledge has been imparted to you, and maybe even some of you have been inspired to consider a career in the public service. I listened to the names being called, and I'd just like to say, Ms. Strapp, as your cousin. You know, my grandmother was a Strapp. Not many of us. That's a Cat Island origination. But welcome all of you, and hopefully you are able to learn something here today. Before I begin, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to offer condolences to the family of Mrs. Irene Thompson from Flamingo Gardens, who passed a few days ago. Ms. Thompson is a stalwart councilor of the Progressive Liberal Party. And when I entered this political arena back in the year 2000, she was one of my early and most ardent supporters. And I shared with the branch meeting last night that she didn't care that I was a rookie. She didn't care that I was taking on at the time the Honorable Frank Watson, who was Deputy Prime Minister and having served 25 years, and as Minister of National Security, having served as Minister of Works and all senior posts. She didn't care about that. She knew that I was the candidate of the Progressive Liberal Party, and that's where her support lay. And no matter what the odds, she was there giving me her full support. She was one of those supporters who, if you were having an event, a fundraiser, or you were doing some work and you didn't tell her, she's mad with you. How come you doing this and ain't tell me? She always said, I could have do a couple pounds of macaroni. I would say, you know, next time. I don't want to lean on you all the time. You know that ain't no problem. And just to give that support. In those early years when, like I said, I was a rookie, it's a funny name, people couldn't call, but she was there with her full support early. And so I just want to offer condolences to her family. We'll have an opportunity to commune with them as the days goes on, but she'll be sorely missed. And may she rest in peace. Mr. Chairman, we are, as we know, as we debate this healthcare compendium, we all recognize that healthcare is a basic need. And chief amongst the responsibilities of any government is to ensure that its citizens have access to healthcare, so that healthcare is accessible, it's affordable, and it's adequate. Fits the purpose. And so just 4 years ago, Mr. Chairman, COVID-19 laid bare our healthcare woes to the nation and to the world. It caused the diversion of critical resources to treat and fight the pandemic. And unfortunately, what that meant was the continuing attention to health issues like chronic non-communicable diseases, the diabetes treatment, the healthcare treatment. They almost had to take, or in some instances, take a back seat as we fought the healthcare, the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, while the pandemic did not create our healthcare challenges, the strain placed on our system further exposed our shortcomings. In the years since, and though the worst of COVID-19 may be behind us, our healthcare issues remain. It is against this backdrop that we debate the compendium of 5 bills before us today that I listed, which represents, in my mind, undeniable progress. Our healthcare system, Mr. Chairman, is very complex. Our situation is very complex and will require a tremendous amount of resources, both human resources and financial resources, to fully address these challenges. But like all major issues that this administration is tackling, we are taking major steps in the right direction. These 5 bills represent sound healthcare policy. They demonstrate our ability to innovate in pursuit of our goals to expand quality healthcare for all Bahamians while maintaining financial accountability and discipline. We must spend our resources wisely. Mr. Chairman, contrary to the opinions of those who differ with the pursuit of universal healthcare coverage on the basis of cost, some people say it costs too much, we can't afford it. This administration is seeking to demonstrate that the government and the nation can afford a significant expansion and improvement of healthcare. In fact, this is non-negotiable. A 21st century Bahamas with ambitions of rising in the ranks of the world's developed nations must take care of all its citizens. And that begins with the pillars like national security, infrastructure development, education, social security, and of course, healthcare. And all of these issues are interrelated. A healthy country is more secure and stable, as well as more prosperous. For example, when we have well-equipped clinics and ambulances, for example, in our family islands, more people feel confident about decisions to move to our family islands as new investments spring up, Bahamians and visitors. Investors feel more comfortable investing in islands where healthcare is established. Most importantly, Bahamian families feel the benefits too, beyond just the direct health benefits. Healthcare spending consumes significant portions of family budgets. There are people right now choosing between medication and meals. Others delay critical treatment due to costs. Tests, for example, imaging and scans and those sort of things, where people put off because of the cost, and we hear it every day. This creates not only healthcare issues, but also economic inefficiencies as illnesses and poor health reduce workforce productivity and ultimately dampens growth. So the status quo as it currently exists is just not sustainable. Not sustainable for the health and well-being of Bahamians, and it is also economically unsustainable. Mr. Chairman, we spend billions of dollars, yes, billions, every year on health care with less than stellar outcomes, which is unfortunate when you consider the degree to which lifestyle choices as well as personal finances play a part in these outcomes. Government spends hundreds of millions of dollars, and through people using their personal finances and insurances, billions, and, healthcare is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Mr. Chairman, it is well known that our country, our citizens have high rates of preventable diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, cardiovascular diseases, and even certain cancers. And many of these higher rates are brought on due to unhealthy diets, sedentary lifestyles, that means we're not active, we don't exercise enough, and stress. Unhealthy diets, including alcohol, smoking, etc. So personal choice is a significant contributing factor, but so is access or the lack thereof to quality health care, including primary diagnostic care. Mr. Chairman, we have all experienced, we have stories, some personal experience that we have, people we know, coming out of our public health care system. We've heard them, we've experienced them for many years. Less than ideal circumstances. But even though our system is imperfect, it still does a lot of good in the lives of thousands of Bahamians each year. And so we thank all of those healthcare workers, our doctors, our nurses, our patient technicians, everybody involved, the lab, everything, keeping the place clean, the security officers who, when you go there, there's a lot of construction going on, they direct you where to go. All of them who do such a tremendous job under less than ideal circumstances. In part, what we're here seeking to do today is to create a set of better circumstances under which all of them can work. And so a lot of good is done, but there's a lot of improvement that can be made. And it's an unfortunate reality, Mr. Chairman, that people often delay care because of personal finances, and at times the decision to delay can prove detrimental, and this is unacceptable. Mr. Chairman, the Progressive Liberal Party has long held that health care is a basic human right that every Bahamian should have access to. Like I said, access, affordability, and adequate care. And this compendium before us takes steps towards changing the current dynamic by creating more predictable and lower health care costs for families, improved workforce health and productivity, expanded preventative care, streamlined administrative processes, more access to free medications and supplies, and improved standards for health care, among other major changes. And so if I were to touch on the bills individually, Mr. Chairman, the Health Promotion and Wellness Bill 2025 is about prevention. It requires a national health promotion and wellness plan under sections 4 and 5, and this plan includes measurable targets. It creates accountability, and it focuses resources where they deliver maximum impact. Sections 6 and 7 mandate public education campaigns, and these public education campaigns must address disease prevention strategies, mental health awareness, wellness promotion, and lifestyle modification support. It includes community and workplace programs, and the national benefits that are envisioned from these changes will be substantial. And so as we promote wellness, Mr. Chairman, one of the outcomes we anticipate are reduced chronic disease rates. And reduced chronic disease rates mean lower healthcare spending per capita, as well as lower overall economic toll due to improved health. It means longer lives, healthier lives, and increased productivity. Put simply, Mr. Chairman, not only makes healthcare sense, but it makes economic sense to pursue these changes. This is wellness, promoting healthy exercise, healthy lifestyles, healthy eating, more exercise. Less fried food, less sugary drinks, basic healthy. And part of this overall strategy is, let's start with prevention. Sections 8 and 9 of the bill empower the minister to set nutrient limits and require warning labels on unhealthy foods. And this regulatory framework guides consumer choices. It reduces the burden of diet-related diseases, and it protects public health without restricting business operations inappropriately. The National Food and Nutrition Commission, established under sections 13 through 16, will regulate ultra-processed foods and other foods that contribute to poor health. These steps are necessary to promote healthier lifestyles. I want to be clear, Mr. Chairman, these measures are not about condemning or turning a critical eye on Bahamian food. You know, we all love our Bahamian food. These changes are about enjoying everything in moderation and valuing good health just as much as we value good tasting Bahamian peas and rice and fried fish and maybe some crab and rice. But in moderation and combined with exercise and in moderation, not every day, not every meal, but in moderation combined with exercise. You know,
Eat some conch salad.
you know, Mr. Chairman, I tell people, I says, you know, when I was a boy in Cat Island, you know, peas and rice was Sunday, right? Macaroni was the holiday. That was Christmas. Now we can have it
Every day.
at will. So, you know, in moderation, nothing wrong. But if you have it, you know, you can't have it every day. And then we must mix that in with some exercise. And, you know, there's a lot the government can do as well. And so this bill is a start. There's a lot that we can do in terms of community-based, healthy, let's move Bahamas sort of operation. Let's get out and exercise a little bit. You know, nobody has to be a champion long distance runner in 1 week, you know, but just start moving. The Pharmacy Bill 2025, Mr. Chairman, the amendments to Section 30 of the Act bring our pharmacy regulations into the digital age. So we're amending the Pharmacy Bill. The expanded definition of in writing now includes fax and intranet physician order entry systems, secure electronic prescribing platforms, and integration with the Cannabis Act database systems. And this means we will have digital prescriptions instead of handwritten prescriptions. So it's progress. And these changes are anticipated to deliver immediate benefits, including reduced prescription errors and associated costs, decreased processing times, and enhanced fraud prevention. Electronic prescribing eliminates handwriting interpretation delays. You know, we all hear about how bad handwriting of some of our doctors. They say doctors have bad handwriting. It also reduces callbacks between pharmacies and physicians, you know, calling back to try and find what is this. And so it decreases, you know, the waste of time, so simply put. And it creates adequate medication records, which are very, very important. These efficiencies translate to time and cost savings across the healthcare system. Additionally, the Cannabis Act integration ensures our emerging cannabis industry operates with proper oversight, and it maintains safety standards while supporting economic development in this new sector. The Dental Professions Bill 2025, Mr. Chairman, we are repealing the existing bill and putting in a new bill. And we know that oral health is an important aspect of health that isn't focused on enough. We do not put enough focus on oral health. Poor oral health affects overall wellness. Unfortunately, we do not have modern regulations for the dental profession in the Bahamas. But now we will, be thanks to this bill. Sections 3 to 6 of this bill establish the continued presence and relevance of the Bahamas Dental Council. Annual public listings under Section 4E create transparency to help consumers make informed choices and help practitioners operate under clear standards. So people will be able to go and see the list of approved dentists and other oral professionals. Sections 15 and 16 require registration and annual licensing of practitioners, and Section 17 and the third schedule define recognized dental specialties. Taken together, these provisions promote professionalism, accountability, consumer protection, and quality assurance. Section 29 mandates continuing education for license renewal, so you have to go back to school and stay up on the cutting edge of modern procedures, etc. This requirement ensures practitioners maintain current knowledge for improved treatment outcomes. There are disciplinary processes which are outlined in sections 34 through 37, and these are designed to protect patients and practitioners alike. The misconduct protocols are clarified. Likewise, section 39 through 41 penalize unlicensed practice, and again, designed to maintain professional standards. But with this bill, Mr. Chairman, we have established professional standards so that dental practices have the same degree of oversight as other areas of healthcare. This applies not only to dentists, but also applies to dental nurses, hygienists, technicians, therapists, assistants, and interns. The entire field of dental healthcare will be strengthened through standards established by this bill. The National Health Insurance Bill 2025, Mr. Chairman, is a comprehensive reform that replaces the 2016 Act with expanded coverage and stronger oversight. And so you see the common theme here, Mr. Chairman. Expanding coverage so that more Bahamians can benefit, along with stronger oversight so that Bahamians can be assured that when they get care, the professionals that are delivering this care are held to the highest standards of competence and practice. The Sections 5 and Part 3, Section 25, strengthen the National Health Insurance Authority and Fund, and the strong governance established by these changes ensures efficient resource allocation, maintains public confidence, and supports sustainable operations. The standard health benefits package detailed in Section 31 and in the third schedule includes primary health care services, health education and promotion of wellness, early detection and preventative care, diagnostic imaging, x-rays, scans, etc., pediatric care, maternity care, and screening programs for cancer and other specified conditions. Mr. Chairman, when we look at the wellness bill, the health promotion and wellness bill, and the changes in this bill, what we see is an emphasis on early detection, prevention through lifestyle choices, and we have the National Health Insurance Bill putting an emphasis more on early detection, prevention, being able to get examinations, so that if there is a condition, it can be discovered at an early stage, and so treatment can begin at an early stage before things get out of hand, so to speak. The Standard Health Benefits Network, established through Sections 38 through 44, creates a unified provider system. And this network delivers consistent service quality, predictable costs, efficient resource utilization, and reduced administrative duplication. Sections 34 through 37 regulate approved private insurers. Premium caps are introduced to protect consumers, and quality standards ensure value for money. This regulatory framework balances market competition with consumer protection. And what this all means is that people will have access to standard health benefits and will be automatically covered by NHI if they don't have insurance. If they do have insurance, the standard health benefits ensure that at minimum, the listed areas will be covered by their plan. This is critical, as private insurance plan can have gaps in coverage. These standards ensure that anyone paying for insurance is getting at least a baseline minimum of quality coverage. Also, Mr. Chairman, this bill establishes a smooth transition for those who lose their coverage. For example, a person who loses their job and also as a result loses the insurance coverage they receive through their job will be seamlessly transitioned into NHI, where they can continue to receive quality coverage. Through this bill, as we see in sections 10, 13, and 16, we are also protecting the public's resources by ensuring financial accountability through inspections, compliance mechanisms, and audit capabilities. It is through widespread stakeholder engagement that we have created an accountable, transparent system that will aggressively expand quality healthcare coverage. We will also accomplish this without major costs generated as a result of our use of networks and established standards. And you don't have to take our word for it. The insurers themselves, who will be participating in the network, have agreed with us that this represents the most cost-effective solution available. And now, thanks to this bill, we will expand healthcare coverage without expanding costs. The NHI Prescription Drug Fund Bill 2025, Mr. Chairman, addresses medication affordability directly. It lowers costs and expands access to free prescription drugs for upwards of 160,000 Bahamians. Section 4 of this bill establishes the Chronic Diseases Prescription Drug Plan under NHI. By pulling the prescription drug plan into NHI, we are promoting administrative efficiency and streamlining to lower costs. So instead of having two systems operating, two different entities purchasing the drugs, we bring it all into NHI. The Prescription Drug Fund, created under Section 6, enables bulk purchasing strategies, and these strategies, you buy in bulk, deliver lower medication costs through volume discounts, consistent supply chain management, reduced price volatility, and enhanced negotiating power with suppliers. Section 7 of the bill defines eligible beneficiaries comprehensively. Coverage extends to citizens and residents, pensioners and retirees, children and dependents, and indigent persons requiring assistance. That is what we, vulnerable people, what we might call poor people who require assistance. So we have citizens and residents, pensioners, our older citizens, pensioners and retirees, children and dependents, and indigent persons requiring assistance. And this broad coverage, Mr. Chairman, is quite welcome and ensures stability. Families can now make the best financial and healthcare decisions to suit their needs without worrying about the cost of medicine, or at least the worry is reduced. Section 9 of this bill, formalizing partner pharmacy contracts. These agreements ensure geographic accessibility across all islands, quality service delivery, fair pricing structures, and professional dispensing standards. These are just a few of the changes this bill brings about, Mr. President, as this administration delivers the largest expansion of free prescription drug coverage since the launch of the prescription drug plan. As an overall impact, Mr. Chairman, this compendium delivers comprehensive benefits across multiple dimensions. We're maximizing efficiency, eliminating redundancies, creating synergies across the healthcare system. Hundreds of thousands of Bahamians, at least tens of thousands, over 100,000 Bahamians will benefit from these changes in the near future. We are touching on several of the most critical areas such as health insurance coverage, dental care, prescription drug access and affordability, I might add, health education and preventative care, which is very important, so that Bahamians can lead healthier, more fulfilling lives. This compendium demonstrates our commitment to comprehensive systemic reform. It builds on the work we have already done, modernizing, and some of that work includes modernizing and expanding dozens of clinics in Nassau and the Family Islands. And I must thank Minister of Health for the work he has done in ensuring that we can begin construction of the brand new state-of-the-art Coconut Grove Advanced Health Center that is under construction, coming out of the ground. And I understand that it's on schedule for commissioning next year. And that is something that is near and dear to me, having grown up in that community and had the benefit of the old Coconut Grove Clinic, and we were all sad when it closed down. But help and hope is on the way, and we can see it coming out of the ground every Monday, every day as we drive past on Blue Hill Road. We just see it manifesting and coming alive. So we're so thankful to the minister for that. Major improvements, and though we've had some hiccups, we're doing major improvements to the wards of the Princess Margaret Hospital and constructing new hospitals in Nassau and Grand Bahama. This, Mr. Chairman, is without a doubt the most extensive and intensive investment in health care in our history as an independent nation, and it is needed because, as I said as I began, the system underwent a lot of stress during the pandemic, and so we have to invest in bringing it back and as well expanding it because, it is amongst the most basic needs, I would say the most basic need, right there with food, of our people to have access to affordable health care. Through our investments in healthcare infrastructure, safety nets, and systems, we are demonstrating that universal health care can be a reality in the Bahamas. And today we are taking 5 critical steps toward that goal with the 5 bills which make up this compendium. And so, Mr. Chairman, in conclusion, these 5 bills represent real progress. Every single person in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas stands to benefit from these changes. The Progressive Liberal Party has always been the party of progress and the unwavering champion of access for all Bahamians. And that is true whether we are talking economic access, social access, or access to health care. Mr. Chairman, it is no coincidence that it was the Progressive Liberal Party that launched national health insurance, and true to our legacy today, we take another major step toward health care as a right for every Bahamian, a basic human right. This is just the beginning, Mr. Chairman, of our healthcare transformation. We have ambitious goals ahead, and we are just getting started. This compendium adds to our long list of transformative policies across energy, the economy, education, and healthcare. We are strengthening the pillars of our economy and our nation as a foundation for continued growth. Investors have taken notice, international agencies are taking notice, but most importantly, the Bahamian people are noticing and feeling the difference under this Davis administration. I thank the Minister of Health and Wellness and the team at the ministry, the PHA, as well as the healthcare and insurance stakeholders. And once again, our healthcare professionals. When I say professionals, we're not only talking about the doctors and the nurses. Everyone involved in making sure that every Bahamian who walks through the door of one of our clinics, one of our hospitals, receive that compassionate care, the most compassionate care, the most professional care that they can get. And that goes from the doctor throughout all of the jobs. None, I submit, Mr. Chairman, is more important than the other. So I say I thank the Minister of Health and Wellness and the team at the Ministry, the Public Hospitals Authority, as well as the healthcare and insurance stakeholders, and all others who gave their feedback and participated in getting us to this point where we can debate these bills and hopefully pass them at the end of the day. Thank you. Thank to all of them for their feedback and support. And so, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. And I move for second reading and committal of a bill for an act to continue the National Health Insurance Plan and Fund established and existing under the National Health Insurance Act 2016, to extend the benefits under the plan, and to provide as a minimum standard health benefits and other benefits to persons presently enrolled in the plan and to persons eligible and enrolled after the commencement of this act, to validate all acts done under the existing plan and fund, to repeal and replace the National Health Insurance Act 2016, and for connected purposes.
This on?
Mr. Chairman, good morning. Good morning, Senators. I too would like to begin by welcoming the summer students who are with us in the gallery this morning. I'm always pleased to see the young women. Of course, I also wish there was maybe at least one guy in the midst, because we don't want our men to fall by the wayside, but nonetheless, welcome, ladies. I also would like to take this time to extend birthday greetings to my grand aunt, Lottie Davis, who I only learned yesterday is my birthday twin after all these years. She's the youngest of the major clan, my grandfather's baby sister, and she celebrated her 88th birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Aunt Lottie. And finally, before I get into my debate, I wish to extend condolences to my friends Adrian and Gianna Hunt on the loss of their brother Dario yesterday. Adrian and Gianna, my thoughts and prayers are certainly with you guys and the family during this time. So, Mr. Chairman, today I, of course, rise in full support of this compendium of progressive and forward-thinking healthcare legislation, each addressing a key area of healthcare improvement in the Bahamas. These reforms represent more than just statutory updates. They embody this administration's commitment to building a healthier Bahamas, one community, one family, one patient at a time. Mr. Chairman, a few weeks ago when I made my budget contribution, I would have proudly recognized the clinic and hospital upgrades happening throughout our islands. Clinics are not only being reopened in communities where doors have been shut for far too long, but brand new facilities are also being constructed. Passing the Coconut Grove Clinic just a few days ago, I was pleased to see the work in progress, and I wish to commend the incoming MP for St. Barnabas for leading the charge and continuing in his commitment to serve that community.
This community, man, that's where he's from.
There you go.
Back home.
We are upgrading diagnostic labs, installing new equipment, and bringing specialist services to the Family Islands. None of that is political rhetoric, Mr. Chairman, but a promise grounded in action, and again, progress that you can see. Mr. Chairman, turning now to the first bill, the Health Promotion and Wellness Bill of 2025. We all know that prevention is always better and cheaper than cure. This bill aims to put prevention at the heart of our national health agenda by mandating national public health policies that promote health and wellness and reduce the burden of non-communicable diseases. This legislation empowers individuals and communities to take charge of their own health and by fostering a culture of wellness across the nation. This bill empowers the Ministry of Health and Wellness to lead nationwide campaigns on nutrition, physical activity, mental health awareness, and the prevention of certain diseases. It supports workplace initiatives, workplace wellness initiatives, school-based health education, and partnerships within community organizations. It addresses risk factors head-on, like obesity, hypertension, diabetes, the very conditions that drive up our healthcare costs and reduce the quality of living for many Bahamians. With the establishment of the National Food and Nutrition Commission, we will ensure that the food environment supports good health rather than undermines it. Under the bill, the Commission will have the power to collaborate with various organizations and government agencies to implement programs and initiatives that provide affordable access to more nutritious foods. This is about creating a culture of health so Bahamians not just are living longer, but are living well. Mr. Chairman, the second bill I wish to focus on today is the Pharmacy Amendment Bill of 2025. This bill aims to modernize our pharmaceutical practices by incorporating electronic methods for prescription processes. This will not only streamline operations, but also enhance the safety and efficiency of medication distribution. By embracing technology, we are ensuring that our healthcare system meets international standards and is equipped to handle the challenges of the future. Access to quality medication is fundamental, and these technological improvements should reduce our wait times and improve the safety for all of our citizens. Mr. Chairman, next in this compendium is the National Health Insurance Bill of 2025. This bill repeals and replaces the 2016 Act and introduces the Standard Health Benefit Package. The SHB package includes primary care services such as maternal and pediatric care, diagnostics, cancer screening, and wellness promotion. Universal access to quality health care is not just a policy goal, it is a moral imperative, and this bill will strengthen our NHI framework by ensuring broader coverage and more efficient service delivery. Persons would be automatically covered by NHI if they do not have private insurance, or they would transition to NHI if they're transitioning out of private coverage, as Senator Halkitis would have already said. This is a step toward a Bahamas where no one delays a doctor's visit or an operation because they cannot afford it. Mr. Chairman, we now move to the Dental Professions Bill of 2025, which as we've heard, is repealing the outdated 1990 Dental Act and establishes a modern regulatory framework for dentistry in the Bahamas. It sets national standards for dental practice through ensuring that oral health is integrated into overall health care. This bill recognizes the importance of good dental health and provides clear guidelines for professional development, ultimately leading to improved patient outcomes. We often overlook the fact that poor oral health care can lead to heart disease, infections, and other serious conditions. This bill puts dental care where it belongs, in the mainstream of our public health strategy. Finally, Mr. Chairman, we have the National Health Insurance Specified Chronic Diseases Prescription Drug Fund Bill of 2025. Mr. Chairman, the cost of managing chronic illnesses can be crushing for many families. This bill integrates the National Prescription Drug Plan into the National Health Insurance Authority, ensuring that over 41,000 Bahamians currently receiving free medication through the plan continue to have access to essential drugs. By centralizing the prescription drug fund, we aim to provide a single access point for life-saving medications, reducing fragmentation and improving efficiency in our healthcare system. The plan targets high-cost medications for conditions like diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular disease, making these medications either free or heavily subsidized for certain eligible Bahamians, and reducing the financial burden by keeping these patients on life-saving treatments. We know that early, consistent access to medication saves lives, and reduces hospital admissions. So this plan will do exactly that. Mr. Chairman, beyond legislation, this administration has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to improving healthcare infrastructure. As I've indicated, we've reopened clinics, we've broken ground for new medical facilities and hospitals, and we've increased our healthcare budget to strengthen our national insurance program. These investments are not merely financial. They are a testament to our dedication to the health and well-being of every Bahamian citizen. While many may argue that these reforms do not go far enough, it is important to recognize that these bills lay the foundation for future enhancements. The introduction of the SHB package is a significant step toward comprehensive coverage, and as our healthcare system evolves, we will continue to address emerging needs and challenges. And I'd like to take this opportunity to also commend the Minister of Health and Wellness and his team at the ministry for their diligent work and efforts in improving health care in this nation. Mr. Chairman, these bills represent more than just policy changes. They are a commitment to the health and prosperity of Bahamian citizens. They reflect our belief that Bahamians deserve access to quality health care and that prevention is just as important, if not more important, than treatment. As we move forward, let us do so with the confidence that we are building a healthier, more equitable Bahamas for all. Health is the foundation of productivity, prosperity, and national pride. And these 5 bills together are a blueprint for a healthier, stronger Bahamas. They close the gaps in access, affordability, and quality, and they reaffirm this administration's promise to bring good health care closer to home. This is progress you can feel. They don't call us the Progressive Liberal Party for nothing. And it is progress that we will keep building on. I therefore commend this compendium of bills to the Senate. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and may God continue to bless the people of this great Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, the Honorable Jan Major. Thank you very kindly. It has been moved and seconded that the compendium of 5 bills. As many? The chair recognizes Senator the Honorable Michael Barnett Ellis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I join you and my fellow Senate colleagues in welcoming the summer students to the gallery. I had a brief opportunity to speak with them, and I wish them all the best in the upcoming school year. Mr. Chairman, I want to also offer condolences to former Senator Heather Hunt on the passing of her husband, Dario Hunt. We on this side are keeping her and her daughters in our thoughts and prayers. And I also would like to extend condolences to my partner, Adrian Hunt, and my fraternity brother, Emil Hunt, on Dario's passing as well. Next week, on the 19th of August, 2025, we will mark the 33rd anniversary of deliverance. In 1992, the Bahamian economy was in a crisis. Employment was falling, unemployment was rising, hotel workers faced short work weeks, industrial relations were tense, essential public services were deteriorating, taxes were climbing, retail prices were increasing, interest rates were staggering, and the reputable international investors had lost confidence. Most importantly, ordinary Bahamians had lost confidence in the ability, the integrity, and the competence of the then PLP government to grasp the magnitude of the hardship the people were facing. Families were watching their quality of life erode and were deeply worried about the future awaiting their children. The problems seemed irretractable, and the government seemed unwilling and unable to provide solutions. On August 19, 1992, the Bahamian people spoke, and they spoke loudly.
Yes.
It was a new morning and truly a new day.
Yes.
They chose the Free National Movement to be the instrument of change. A change is exactly what they delivered. And since we're talking about health and wellness, Let us remember what that administration did. They expanded the network of community health clinics and built new ones in Abaco and Long Island. They accelerated the immunization program for infants and children. They refurbished the Princess Margaret Hospital and the Rand Memorial Hospital. They introduced free prenatal and postnatal care for mothers and infants. F&M administrations have introduced the prescription drug program, introduced telemedicine, constructed the child and adolescent unit at Sandilands, and opened the oncology center at PMH.
Yes.
We deliver change, real, tangible, life-improving change. Mr. Chairman, that was a period when government understood. Mr. Chairman.
Senators, thank you, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that was a period when government understood that health and wellness was not just a slogan. It was about delivering services, building infrastructure, and ensuring that every Bahamian, no matter their island or income, had quality health care. It was about taking decisive action in the face of hardship and producing visible results. So when I look at the Health and Wellness Promotion and Wellness Bill before us today, I cannot help but measure it against that record. The contrast is striking. The bill speaks of plans, policies, and commissions, but says far less about the concrete steps that will put medicine back in pharmacy shelves, fix broken hospital kitchens, repair equipment, and keep our healthcare professionals here at home. Words on the page sound promising, but our people need more than promises. They need action, as real and as measurable as what was delivered before. The public health care system in this country is broken. The gap between private health care services and public health care services is embarrassingly wide. So wide that it now feels like two different countries are operating within our borders. It is a universal right that everyone has a standard of living adequate for their health and well-being. That's not rhetoric. It's embedded in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, to which the Bahamas is a signatory. But, Mr. Chairman, we are failing to meet that obligation. A local hospital can only operate in emergency cases because of a lack of resources. That is not adequate for health and well-being. A hospital without scrub brushes, IV fluids, IV kits, essential medicine, or essential surgical equipment is not adequate for health and well-being. Health professionals working in clinics, especially in the heat of the summer, without air conditioning, are not working in conditions adequate for health and well-being. This is not a political statement. It's a reality check. Mr. Chair, today we are here to debate legislation that creates a legal framework to promote wellness. The Health Promotion and Wellness Bill 2025 sets out commendable objectives to promote healthy lifestyles, to create health promotion and wellness plan, to strengthen education, to establish a National Food and Nutrition Commission. On paper, it reads like progress, but I must ask, where is the reality behind these words? Where is the guarantee that the communities that we serve will see these objectives translated into functioning clinics, stocked pharmacies, and adequately staffed hospitals? Clause 4 of the bill mandates the minister to prepare and implement a health promotion and wellness plan. That sounds promising, until we remember that many plans launched in recent years that remain incomplete, unfunded, or forgotten. 2 years later, we're still waiting for the Protection Against Violence Commission. Clause 5 speaks about integrating strategies to promote physical activity, mental health, and health education. But Mr. Chair, What use is a strategy if we can't keep the air condition running in our clinics or fix a hospital kitchen after more than a year? Clause 6 seeks to educate the public about early detection and preventative care. But how can we talk about early detection when diagnostic machines are broken or unavailable for months? Or, as I was recently told, could not be used because the air condition couldn't cool the room down cold enough for that machine to be used. Clause 9 gives the minister sweeping powers to adopt public health policies, including banning harmful food products and imposing nutrient limits. But where is the power and the political will to ensure that the Public Hospital Authority pays its vendors so that essential medicines and supplies are not out of stock? Let's be clear. The consequences of this broken system are not just inconvenience. They are life and death. The patient who waits for a surgery often gets sicker than when they were first scheduled. Or a young man injured in an accident who waits hours in an overcrowded accident emergency because the new emergency department, promised multiple times, still isn't complete. These are not abstract examples. They are daily reminders of the realities for Bahamians across our islands. Wellness is not just about diet and exercise. It's about hospitals that stand ready in the moment of your need, not ones that send you home to wait because equipment is down or supplies are out. It is about pharmacies that are stocked when the doctor prescribes medicine, not empty shelves or come back next week answers. It's about nurses, doctors, and technicians who are respected, supported, and paid on time, not professionals forced to leave to other countries because they cannot survive on the conditions and compensation here. It is about facilities that are safe, clean, and modern, not crumbling walls, leaking ceilings, broken air conditioners, and outdated surgical equipment. It is about the family island resident who should be able to deliver her baby in a properly equipped maternity ward without fearing that she will have to be airlifted at the last minute. This bill focuses heavily on lifestyle diseases. And yes, that is important. We absolutely must address diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and cancer risks. But let's be honest, Mr. Chair. No amount of healthy eating, gym membership, or morning walks will make up for a hospital without running water or an empty medicine cabinet or surgery canceled because the equipment is broken or out of stock. A true wellness agenda is a whole system agenda. It begins with prevention, yes, but also demands investment in infrastructure, consistent supply chains, and human resources. Without that, wellness remains an aspiration, not a reality. And before I go any further, I must speak about the people who hold the system together through sheer will, keeping it from falling apart, our healthcare professionals. Every day across our islands, doctors, nurses, technicians, and support staff walk into hospitals and clinics knowing that they may not have the tools they need, knowing that they will have to stretch themselves far beyond what is reasonable. And yet, they show up anyway. They do it not because the system makes it easy, but because they are committed to their calling. They improvise when supplies run out. They stay long past their scheduled shifts because the patient in the bed cannot wait. They comfort families while quietly absorbing their own frustration at having to fight the system to provide the care they are trained for. We owe them more than thanks. We owe them a system worthy of their professionalism. We owe them safe working conditions, competitive pay, opportunities for advancement, and the equipment they need to do their jobs without having to perform daily miracles just to keep patients alive. The truth is, Mr. Chairman, the Health Promotion and Wellness Bill talks about plans, commissions, and policies. But if we do not address the reality for the people delivering the care on the ground, wellness will remain a theory on paper. A wellness agenda must also be a workforce agenda. It means training more nurses and midwives, retaining our experienced professionals, and creating conditions that make our brightest want to stay. No matter how visionary the policy, it is in the hands, minds, and hearts of our healthcare workers to bring it to life. And right now, they are doing their part, and it is time for us to do ours. Where is the plan to attract more young people to healthcare so we can train more nurses, technicians, and specialist doctors? Where is the plan to expand the capacity of our nursing program so we can graduate more qualified nurses and midwives? Where is the infrastructure plan to ensure our medical professionals, especially those nurses, want to stay and work here instead of being lured overseas by better pay and better conditions? I will ask again, Mr. President, why isn't the Princess Margaret Hospital kitchen fixed yet? Transporting meals for patients across the island is neither sustainable or safe. Wellness requires, if we want to truly deliver what wellness requires, then alongside the bill, we need a fully costed, time-bound plan for hospital repairs and equipment upgrades with a quarterly progress reports to Parliament. We need a healthcare workforce strategy that includes scholarships, bonded contracts, and competitive pay to retain talent. We need a procurement and vendor payment reform within the public hospital authorities so that suppliers are paid on time, ensuring no stockouts of essential drugs and supplies. And a maintenance schedule for all critical hospital systems with accountability for delays. Mr. Chair, I do support the principle of wellness. On a personal note, notwithstanding all my curves and all my edges, I keep a strength training and cardio regime that helps me stay relatively sane. It's not about the summer body. It's about being strong enough to lift my niece and nephew and resilient enough to manage stress. Our family medical histories read like a long medical report with diabetes, high blood pressure, and cancer too common, too soon, and too often. It is the new generational curse, and the only way to combat it is through lifestyle changes, less sodas, more water, and more walks in well-maintained green spaces. As parliamentarians, we must lead by example. And who knows, Mr. Chair, if we take wellness seriously, maybe one day we may even win that annual basketball game against the Pastors. In closing, Mr. Chair, City Roberts. In closing, Mr. Chair, I support the intent of this bill and this compendium, but intent without delivery is just another broken promise. And the people of the Bahamas deserve not only a plan for wellness, they deserve a functioning healthcare system worthy of their trust. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Barnett Ellis. As many, the chair recognizes Senator the Honorable Kirkland Russell.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, honorable senators. Good morning, Bahamas. I too would like to welcome our summer students in the gallery. I am hopeful that you had a wonderful experience. You met a lot of good people. And like Minister Alquita said, that some of you will make that transition and think about becoming public service persons in this country. Country need good people just like all of you. Next time when you come back, bring a young man with you. Bring him along. Bring him along. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, once again, it's a privilege to stand in this honorable place to make a contribution on yet another progressive, brave bill, prepared for the advancement of the Bahamian people. The fact is, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Edward Davis, KC administration, has always been keenly focused on the pursuit of justice, equality, and the protection of the most vulnerable among us. Isaiah 1:17 teaches us to learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, and to plead the case of the widows. It is on these principles that this administration have consistently passed bills and gave hand up to the most vulnerable among us. From the Evidence Amendment Number 2 Act 2022, that with the insertion of Clause 93A, presumption of death, where a person disappears in circumstances of peril, move the timeline to declare a person dead who goes missing in peril, such as a hurricane, from 7 years to 3 years. With that compassionate stroke of a pen, families who lost their loved ones during Dorian were able to bring closure and settle the affairs of their loved ones by September of 2022, exactly 3 years after the horrific ordeal. Mr. Chairman, had we left it alone, as the former administration did, those individuals would have had to wait till September of 2026 to settle their business. Then, what about the amendments to reduce VAT from 12 to 10% on all items, and then from 10 to 5 on all non-prepared food items? Mr. Chairman, the people of Grand Bahama, especially those outside the Port Authority boundaries, who may own generation land, are elated, hopeful about the wonderful possibilities of the Land Adjudication Bill and the Registered Land Bill 2025, with two historic pieces of legislation designed not just to modernize how we manage land, but to restore dignity to Bahamian families who for generations have lived on land that they could not legally claim as their own. Before those laws, you might live on land but couldn't leverage it. Now today, as a result of those two bills, you can secure it, register it, and use it to build better lives. That is compassionate governance. The father of the nation, Sir Lyndon Pinlin, once said, "We sought to make the small man a real man," end quote. And he also said in his Benno Break speech, "The land must be for the people who work it, live on it, and build the country on it," end quote. In this context, Mr. Chairman, I must mention the father of labor, Sir Randall Fox, who reminded us, and I quote, "Labor is the source of all wealth, but without land, labor has no base, no anchor, no inheritance." Mr. Chairman, from the onset, this administration priorities has been security, opportunity, affordability, and reform. We are working hard to expand opportunities island by island, to build a more inclusive country, to build a more inclusive economy, improve and build new infrastructure, such as roads, docks, airports, bridges, clinics, schools, and yes, hospitals. That brings me to the compendium of health bills at hand. Mr. Chairman, I will continue to rely on Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 17 as my backdrop. I wish to congratulate the Honorable Minister, Dr. Michael Darville, and his amazing team. Please allow me to single out our outstanding medical staff, especially our nurses who provide amazing health care services to all and sundry on a daily basis. Mr. Chairman, we are working to bring much needed change and reform to our healthcare system. and we know it's not going to happen overnight. But when you want to truly change the status quo, when you want to change lives, and when you want to build comprehensive transformative change in an area like healthcare, you must lead with the mindset that nothing is too good for your people. And you must have the courage to get the details of your reforms right. And if you do, the people will keep you there for the long haul. Mr. Chairman, I don't think too many Bahamians have forgotten the state we inherited this healthcare system in September of 2021. Deep crisis with severe challenges, frustrated medical staff who couldn't even receive honorariums for working under risky conditions. But we fixed that. You see, they talk and we action. I admit that these challenges were compounded by the pandemic, but the crisis was as a result of outstanding structural deficiencies, leading to systems that was overwhelmed to the breaking point. The healthcare compendium of bills personifies the fundamental values that form the foundation of how we govern as PLPs. Values like equity, equality, justice, fairness, values that makes the ordinary Bahamian, Abaco, from over the hill, New Providence, Pindus Point, Grand Bahama, feel confident that at the point of need, receiving health care is his right in this Bahamas and not a privilege for only those with money behind the gates. Mr. Chairman, these bills, yes sir, I must go there. These bills are about guaranteeing healthcare accessibility to all Bahamians, no matter if you live in Exuma, Long Island, Grand Bahama, Abaco, or Nassau. Prime Minister Davis says, we must not be paralyzed by the geography of our archipelago, and that those logistics associated with that geography will no longer determine healthcare outcomes in the Family Islands. Under this brave administration, quality healthcare is indeed a human right. Mr. Chairman, far too many families have been dealt severe financial blows as a result of health care expenses. And on the same vein, our public health care facilities continue to be stressed to the limit due to overcrowding and long wait lines owing to a myriad of long-standing legacy problems. In these bills, the Honorable Minister of Health is ensuring equity for every Bahamian. And he is strongly suggesting that when measured by their full potential, these bills we are passing today must be considered a legislative leap towards national wellness. This is a commitment that affirms a national commitment that every Bahamian, from the shores of Inagua to the streets of Freeport, deserve access to quality, affordable, and dignified health care. The Companion of Health Bills 2025 is not just policy, it's a promise. Mr. Chairman, this legislative package includes 5 transformative bills that were discussed earlier. Together, they form a comprehensive reform agenda that aims to modernize our healthcare system, expands healthcare access, and strengthen public health infrastructure. Why is all this necessary at this time, one may ask? Well, the Bahamas faces unique challenges, such as equitable healthcare across a scattered archipelago, the need to expand health services to our Family Islands, ensuring parity with New Providence and Grand Bahama is non-negotiable. I guess when you have a prime minister who hails from a family island, what else does one expect? We must introduce standard health benefit, which is a baseline package covering maternal care, diagnostic, basic screening, including cancer screening, and wellness services to all Bahamians, no matter which one of our major islands you find yourselves living on. And again, I say, this is not just good governance, it is righteous governance. And Mr. Chairman, we are modernizing the dental and pharmaceutical regulation to ensure professional accountability and public service. The public should also be made aware that these bills also seek to repeal outdated laws and replace them with unified, enforceable top industry standard laws. Mr. Chairman, let's talk prevention and wellness. These bills promote programs to encourage early detection, intervention, and healthy lifestyle choices. They introduce taxes on unhealthy products and outline stronger policies to tighten food regulations. While the National Health Insurance Specified Chronic Diseases the Prescription Drug Fund Bill 2025 provide another level of economic relief by reducing catastrophic health expenditures, especially for chronic diseases, with the establishment of the Catastrophic Healthcare Fund, providing support for those facing serious illnesses. And the government have embraced modern electronic health records and telehealth capabilities, bringing technology to Bahamian healthcare. The idea is to empower families to thrive without the burden of unaffordable health care. Mr. Chairman, allow me to mention what is going on in our neck of the woods on the island of Grand Bahama. For a very long time, the people of Grand Bahama has been asking for a new hospital or a modern hospital, one that meets the healthcare needs of a heavily industrial island. I am pleased to update this Honorable Senate that the physical foundation of the Freeport Health Campus is complete, with all the necessary infrastructure needed for the facilities. Residents can now see vertical construction that is on its way, moving steady as she goes. You may recall that in May of 2023, the government broke ground on the $210 million health campus that is expected to be constructed in 3 phases at the site of East Sunrise Highway near the Lucayan roundabout. The first phase, which is well on its way, is planned to be a dedicated primary outpatient and urgent care center. The second phase will be an inpatient surgery and acute care facility providing quality care for patients with severe and urgent conditions or injuries or patients recovering from surgery. And the final phase of the project will be the construction of a medical surgical clinic and support areas. Once the vertical construction of the first phase is completed, then they will begin preparation for the construction of the multi-story tower. The tower, which will have 300 plus beds. Dr. Michael Darville said that the people of Grand Bahama can breathe a sigh of relief because the hospital will have the long-awaited oncology center, which residents have been calling for. This well-thought-out facility will provide full healthcare services for the people of the Northern Bahamas. Mr. Chairman, this is not just catching up. This is another case of the Davis administration stepping forward, upward, and onward, and together hand in hand with the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Mr. Chairman, allow me to mention a few criticisms some have raised about these bills. And we know that there will always be criticism, some valid, some political. You know, there's a saying in the Bahamas now that goes like this: what's good for the people is bad for them. And so, here goes. There's still not enough for a high-cost healthcare program specifically for cancer. That's one of the criticisms. The second is there's anticipated administrative delays in NHI payments to provider. No proof that that will occur. However, that is a criticism. However, these are valid critiques that this administration continues to work extremely hard to remedy. And again, I am certain that the Bahamian people will not forget the poor state we made the system in. However, we have owned those issues, and we are moving forward. But in any event, Mr. Chairman, we will not allow perfect to be the enemy of progress. The compendium of healthcare bills lays an excellent foundation, and it is our duty to build upon it with urgency, accountability, and compassion. This Brave Davis administration is committed to get the job done. And based on what I saw last night, Senator Alcides, the people of this Bahamas are not prepared to go backwards to the doom and gloom days. I was sternly told last night that when I go home, ensure that our political houses are in order for victory in Grand Bahama, because the people of Nassau and the Family Island are singing the song two straight with Brave Davis and the PLP, two straight. The bottom line is though is that there is a wonderful vision. There is a wonderful vision for the future in all this work that is going on in the Ministry of Health. Imagine a Bahamas where a child born today inherits a system that detects diseases early and treats it affordably in a proper facility. Facilities like those that are being constructed or modernized all across our archipelago. Imagine a Bahamas where our youths grow up in communities where wellness is a way of life, and our elders receive care that honors their dignity and legacy. That is the kind of Bahamas this PLP government is building. Yes. Mr. Chairman, this is not a dream. No. It is the direction these bill points us towards. Yes. Honorable Senators, yes. This compendium of health bill is a call to action. Yes. Let us rise to it, not with hesitation, but with conviction, because health care is not a privilege. It is a right, a human right. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. Yeah. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was sick, and you looked after me. This is our assignment as outlined by the Master himself in Matthew 25, verses 35 to 36. And with God's help and all our collective resolve, at least our collective resolve on this side, the Bahamas, this administration will deliver a healthcare system worthy of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Mr. Chairman, I wholeheartedly support these bills, these compendium of bills, 2024-25. May God continue to bless this government as they work on the behalf of the Bahamian people, and may God continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Russell. Thank you. As many.
Yes, sir.
The chair now recognizes Senator the Honorable Maxine Seymour.
Thank you, Mr. I wanted to say all the way, but I realized that wouldn't have been appropriate. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, fellow senators. Before I get started, I must actually start on a very low note, as did our previous, my previous Senate colleagues, in extending sympathy to former Senator Heather Hunt, her three beautiful daughters, Dario's mom, and their entire family on the passing of Dario Hunt yesterday. You know, we talk about life being short and things being sudden and all of that good stuff, but we really don't, and it's not that we want our elderly to die, but it's just that we don't expect, you know, younger persons to die, people who are at the height of their lives, you know, with their families and everything else, and they have three daughters, and we have three daughters, and my husband recalls growing up as a young person on Goodman's Bay, playing football, all the boys who lived in the area and others. Dario was a part of that grouping, and there's just so many commonalities between the two families, women in politics, et cetera. And I recently celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary, and it's just, you know, there's a popular song with lyrics that go, you know, every time you hold me like it is the last time, and every time you know, kiss me like you'll never see me again. But you take these things for granted. And so I really cannot say enough how sorry I am for Heather's loss, and how much I am praying actively, and not just saying that, because in our society we have a habit of saying, you know, I'll pray for you, or praying for you, but how much I'm really praying for Heather and her daughters. Rico and I take that personally, and I feel as if that's my husband. I just can't imagine what that must be like, so sudden, so sad. Mr. Chairman, I must also remind the public of the importance of hydrating. And that's for all of us, Mr. Chair, through you. But especially for our elderly, for our children, for our pets. These times we keep getting warnings of the heat waves, and, you know, the temperatures are just ridiculous. That's just a fact. And so we must all do our best as much as possible to stay out of the sun, to stay cool, and to really hydrate continuously. You know, the persons who work to make ends meet for their families, who are in the sun all day, they have no way of avoiding it. But we're talking about health today, and for those persons, whether they're contractors or security workers or, you know, people who work in, you know, fast food, we have this habit of having them stand outside on the drive-through. People who work in landscaping and so many other fields, to please just stay safe, hydrate, and stay out of the sun as much as you can. Mr. Chair, I also want, through you, to remind the public that we are actively in the Atlantic hurricane season. And while we pray, we must also prepare. And so we, of course, do not want, and we are praying people, and we really do not expect hurricanes to come our way this year. But it's still important to remember that we are in hurricane season, and so we ought to prepare, make sure that we have what we need on hand, and that we have our emergency plans in place. All that said, Mr. Chair, I rise to contribute to the compendium of 5 bills that are before us that speak to health, wellness, and the management of care in our beautiful Commonwealth. And I must say that my first job was at the Ministry of Health, you know, back in the late 90s. I worked alongside Dr. Ronnie Knowles back then as minister, and traveled the islands and the capital, visiting healthcare facilities. I was a part of, you know, the health education system, getting the word out on prevention, worked with people like Audrey DeVoe, you know, who we held a weekly radio show, and I would have transcribed it into weekly newspaper columns. And I took photos, I wrote, and I really pushed health. Health careers marketing, went into the schools, took the professions to displays on career days so students can decide whether or not they would like to go into that career. And I have to say that the EMT were always the most popular at those events because we had a part of the EMT family, but he was a dummy, of course, named Johnny. And we'd bring him out on the stretcher and, you know, really have a chance to demonstrate certain things. And the students were always so excited. And those were the days. And in fact, I have to say, in terms of health, and we talk about needing to take care of ourselves, I don't do as good as my Senate colleague here. I need to get more active, I have to say. Opposites attract. I'm not active, and I have a phys ed instructor for a husband. I'm not as active as I should be. I don't eat as I should. But back in the late 90s, I was a little slim thing, you know? So when we go to the islands on those small planes, those 5-seaters and 6-seaters and stuff, they used to seat us by weight. So I always used to have to go in the tail, Mr. Chair. You know, we had, I went through 3 PSs, I think. Joshua Sayers, the late Joshua Sayers, you know, Elmer Garraway, Lois Simonette. And I used to have to sit in the tail, Mr. Chair, because I was always the smallest. But, you know, if I had that job today, I'll get to sit up front. I'll get to sit up front, Mr. Chair. But, you know, health and wellness is very important. And the work that people do, that we do, across the healthcare industry in our country, whether that's in administration, back then at Royal Vic, today on Meeting Street, whether that's in the hospitals, whether that's in the clinics, you know, all our allied professionals, they all ought to be appreciated. And I express my gratitude to what they do. They do so much with so little, as I think my Senate colleague and the shadow minister would have said. And so as I contribute to these, to the Health Promotion and Wellness Bill, the Pharmacy Amendment Bill, the Dental Professions Bill, 2025, the National Health Insurance Bill, and the National Health Insurance Specified Chronic Diseases Prescription Drug Fund Bill, Mr. Chair, you know, this is just another opportunity for the government, of course, to really talk about reform and modernizing the system and, you know, just doing it all. But if bills solved our problems, Mr. Chair, I have to tell you, with this particular AG and this particular administration, we would be problem-free in our country, okay? But the reality is that laws don't heal patients. Acts of Parliament alone don't cure suffering. And so bills alone won't make us the healthiest nation on this earth because we can't do so by proclamation. And we could put them in the newspaper as much as we want. And it's good to have days and times when we set aside to bring awareness to certain issues. But no amount of proclamations from the OPM will make our nation healthier because that's just the fact. And bills do open gates. They, of course, help in many ways, okay? But we need steady leadership. We need competent management, and we need money paid to our vendors on time, every time, along with the everyday heroism of our healthcare workforce in order to really be what we need to be. Mr. Chair, it's undeniable, and we don't need to hear it in this honorable chamber, that Princess Margaret Hospital is under severe strain. Those are just facts. And in preparation for today, I had an opportunity to speak with multiple physicians, nurses, and allied healthcare professionals and support staff. And they're in a bad state, Mr. Chair, because as one person put it, they said, imagine when, you know, they said the person's dread coming to that place, patients and workers alike. And this is a very qualified physician. And he said to me, you know, when you're coming to work in settings where it's depressing, it's you know, we talk about mental health, and these are the healthcare providers who have to help patients, but their mental and emotional health is impacted by their environment, by their surroundings, by the inability to bring healing, which is what they studied. These are people who grew up and decided that they wanted to become doctors to make a difference in the lives of the citizens and residents of their country. Because many of them, like others who have left, had the opportunity to work in other countries to help those people be healthy. But they chose to come back because they care, Mr. Chair. That's why they're here. But to know that you studied and that you prepared yourself, to make a difference in people's lives. But when you reach for basic equipment, basic tools, basic drugs, basic medication, in order to deliver the quality of care that you're trained to provide, and you reach and you come back with an empty hand, that breaks hearts, Mr. Chair. There's a doctor who trained and who worked in emergency medicine, trained, worked in A&E, and left to go to the private sector, not because they didn't care, but because emotionally they could no longer deal with not being able to help patients in real ways, watching patients lose their lives because of simple, and Mr. Chair, I'm talking simple things that are missing. When we start to talk about gauze and Band-Aids and antibiotics and antiseptics and stuff, we talk in small amounts. Small amounts. Think of where that 7 million extra that disappeared with beaches and parks could go toward health, toward purchasing basic supplies. I'm not even talking about building a new hospital. I am talking about basic supplies that are needed, Mr. Chair. So the testimonies I heard are consistent. When I was talking about the 6th or 7th healthcare person, on the phone, who I really, really appreciated, because, Mr. Chair, I want to make it clear. I'm talking about specialists who I ended up speaking with, specialists, nurses, physicians, persons. I spoke to them all. Some of the things I cannot even share, I wouldn't even share. It's heartbreaking, plus I don't want it to point back to them, but when they took time to talk to me, Mr. Chair, all I could say is that the story is consistent. Mr. Chair, you ever went to a funeral where you sat there? And my daughter and I talked about this the other day, where you sat in the funeral, and once you die in our country, I have to say, this is a cultural practice. You could be the absolute worst person, the worst human being in our entire country. But by culture, once you pass away, we don't speak ill of the dead. So when you go to these funerals and you hear these people talking about things, you'll be like, I wonder if I to the right funeral. But Mr. Chair, I have to tell you that when I spoke to the healthcare workers, every single account was aligned, consistent. Nobody was making up no story to try to memorialize nobody at no funeral. They were telling me the truth because nobody knows each other, and everyone said the same thing about the concerns. So while it's important to pass this compendium of bills, while laws matter, Mr. Chair, it's also important to actualize what it is that we pass. Because their testimonies were simple, that operating theaters are too often down. When 2 or 3 of the 7 theaters are functioning, Mr. Chair, a simple booking just to get a date in the theater becomes a challenge for physicians. And this is why so many of our loved ones have to be in hospital. And in fact, all of it, it literally is all connected, Mr. Chair. Because we have bed shortages, we have issues where we're paying to care for patients, but many of the patients in hospital don't have to be there. They're there because they're waiting on a date for surgery. So they're there longer than they even need to be there. So the doctors report just getting a date to get into the theater in order to operate or to do a simple procedure, okay, is a task, which doesn't leave much room for emergency cases. And then on top of that, Mr. Chair, the maternity patients take priority. But even then, the OBGYN say that if they have to, they have to all of a sudden, the fetal heart rate increases or drops or something happens and they have to rush them in to do a cesarean section, finding a ward, finding somebody to take the gurney and to take it into theater is an issue. So the doctors have to sometimes push and get them in. And so these are basic challenges because I cannot say it enough, Mr. Chair. In a health crisis or emergency, every second counts. And not every minute, every second counts when it comes to life or death, Mr. Chair. And so we have these patients waiting on the wards for days, for weeks, just for a surgical slot. And like I said, what happens in an emergency? Sometimes you finally get in the theater after waiting, and then next thing you know, they have to still reschedule it. And you have to remember now, these patients haven't eaten for however long. That might seem basic, but the mental and emotional strain of fasting, thinking you're going to theater, then they say not today. then not tomorrow. Then it's just so much up and down because mentally sometimes you have to prepare for procedures because going under the knife is not a joke. So you already have to psych yourself up to say, okay, I have to do this, I'm going to theater today. And then you're deflated because it's not today anymore. These are real issues people face who access public health care in our country. And Mr. Chair, our socio or economic standing should not impact our right to health in our country. Okay? It should not, Mr. Chair. And so we need to actualize what we pass into law. And so, Mr. Chair, like my Senate colleague would have talked about, and I started out by saying when I mentioned the importance of hydration, I could tell you, in this day and time, this ain't no time to be out there can do. Anyone remember when they used to call it air can do? That's what they used to call it back in the day. Air can do. And when physicians and patients alike have to be without air can do, at PMH, that's serious, Mr. Chair. I can tell you that, okay? Because when the air conditioning fails in the theater or on the ward, what we're asking is for exhausted professional medical teams to perform miracles in discomfort. And the patients are suffering. That's the daily weather at our hospital some days. Okay, they have some fans, they have some portable ACs. Try to patch it up. And this is why, Mr. Chair, in general, it's important for political parties to award contracts to the most qualified and most suitably qualified people. That's a general rule for political parties, okay? Because when you give a contract that might be beyond a scope of one of your supporters, and then they are not able to handle it, people suffer. These are real people suffering. Mr. Chair, I often think about us as Bahamians. Could you imagine boarding a plane only to find out that somebody who's friends with the CEO at Delta, got their college mate or their friend a job? The person never went to school to become a pilot, but they got a job because they knew someone. You can imagine strapping on your seatbelts. And so every single thing we do in our country, we have to be mindful that it has impact. So when we decide to hire someone because we know them or because we like them or because they campaign with us, this is what happens. This is what happens. The hospital and other places could possibly end up not maintained because the people are beyond scope or simply because they haven't received payment. Let's be real. We brag about a surplus. What is a surplus? What is it right now if I have $500 in my pocket? If I owe this one, that amount, this one, that amount, that one, that amount, that ain't even my money, Mr. Chair. Because if those people line up one by one at Senate and I give this one the 50 I owe them, this one 100, this one the 300, the reality is I have a deficit. So I can't brag about having 500 in my pocket, Mr. Chair, when I don't pay my bills. So these are real issues, Mr. Chair. Printers need ink. They need paper. These are real issues that happen every day in our healthcare system. Issues that can be fixed if we just prioritize, Mr. Chair. Prioritize healthcare. Mr. Chair, the supply challenges, I spoke to a doctor who said it. If 5 boxes are left on the shelf, it's time to place the order. Not when it runs out, Mr. Chair, because you can't be reaching for stuff and it's not there because someone didn't place the order. These are simple things that we can fix, not with passing bills, but with practical solutions on site. It is important to do this. It is important to pay our bills so the vendor would want to deliver the boxes when we order more. That's just a fact. If you don't pay the bill, well, you think I could call someone to do my landscaping at home if I didn't pay them the last time they came? They'd be an idiot to show up again and mow the lawn. That's just the fact of what we're dealing with in healthcare in our country, Mr. Chair. Everyone is seeing the videos. I just want to make it clear. For every video or patient or post that goes viral, that's only one of so many others who quietly suffer in pain. Not everybody has a vocal, child or a vocal cousin or aunt or sister or brother who's going to go to the media and expose what happens. So when we hear those stories, that's only some of the stories. And it has to matter to us as lawmakers because Perhaps some of us can go to a private hospital. Perhaps some of us could fly away and get care. But that is not the reality of the ordinary Bahamian in the Bahamas, Mr. Chair. And so we have to make sure that our public health care is at a level and at a standard that is befitting of the citizens and residents of the country that we call the greatest country in the world. We have to do better, Mr. Chair. And so when we talk about our healthcare providers and we pay homage to them, we often think about doctors and nurses. Then there are the physiotherapists, the pharmacists, the radiographers, the lab technicians, the dentists, and the dental hygienists and assistants, and all of the other dental professions that are captured in this bill here today. There are the dietitians, the nutritionists, the social workers, the EMTs, the orderlies, that, like I say, in that moment you need to help you push that, patient who's in labor into theater quickly or right away. The ward clerks. Like I heard our fellow senator who moved the bill say, the security officers. And the list goes on. The cleaners, the porters, the technicians, the biomedical engineers, the counselors. Because there are so many professions that go into turning a hospital from a simple building into a living system. And those various professions, Mr. Chairman, are overworked. Overworked, and many of them are underpaid. And that is why we continue to deplete our system of good, qualified Bahamians who end up going elsewhere to work. But not just that, Mr. Chair, but the morale suffers when they can't get their back pay. It's dragging on. Like I say, $500 in my pocket, but bills aren't paid. When overtime is uncertain. When electricity bill, I spoke to a nurse, Mr. Chair, who said that she actually likened it to feeling, she said nurses feel sometimes like it's like slavery. And she said whatever they make is going toward bills. And you know what's so sad? When you could plan, when you could sit down each month, Mr. Chair, and you could say, okay, $5 for this, $10 for that. We Bahamians, we good religious people. So we say, okay, this amount for your tithes, this amount for your internet, this amount for your grocery, this amount for your car maintenance, this amount for your insurance. But you know what's so sad? We cannot plan around our electricity bill, Mr. Chair. And even so, I spoke to that nurse, and she said, the challenges, and she said to me, I finally got my BPL bill down to zero. She said, but then it's up again. So when you could plan and budget, that's good, but we can't even plan on electricity. We can't consistently say, okay, I consume this amount, this is the amount. And it's one thing for it to vary slightly, Mr. Chair, but varying drastically, that's a whole different story. So our healthcare providers, Mr. Chair, their paycheck is devoured even before half of the month is gone. And it's rough. They're burnt out. They're tired. Okay? And that is why we have a steady drain of our talent. And so we really have to, Mr. Chair, realize that, to retain our healthcare professionals is not about a fancy speech or telling them to put the Bahamas first and all that stuff. Someone said, show me the money. Show me the money. We need to create a safe workplace for them, okay, a clear ladder of advancement, training opportunities, and simple dollars and cents. They have to be reviewed. Mr. Chair, when we talk about NCDs, we talk about mental health, okay? We're in the grip of a preventable health crisis in our country, Mr. Chair. Non-communicable diseases, whether that's obesity, diabetes, hypertension, okay? It's breaking us in our country. And for years, POW, WHO, they've warned about it, okay? Because we carry the highest obesity burdens in our region. And adults, I mean, trust me, I'm not standing here to point no fingers because that'll be duplicitous of me, because I know that I'm overweight. And so these things are things we expose ourselves to. And diabetes in our country, it steals limbs and lives every day. People have issues with their limbs, and this goes back to the theater and the healthcare system and needing access because of diabetes. And mental health is a huge deal right now in our country. We saw the new data recently from our own global school-based student health survey. It painted a sobering picture, Mr. Chair. 1 in 5 Bahamian students reporting having attempted suicide, and many more struggling with persistent sadness, anxiety, or bullying. These are real issues. And so again, like I said, if bills passed, if bills, help to save lives, that would be great. The mental health bill would have done it, but we need to action and enforce what we pass. Okay, we need staffed clinics. We need more school-based counselors, community programs, because we have the one facility. And I have to take this moment to acknowledge and thank all of the persons at Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, because they do a yeoman's task, Mr. Chairman, keeping our mental health, it's just there, but they're beyond capacity. They're doing the best they can. So, Mr. Chair, like I said, I know what it is to market health care through my first job in the 90s, health prevention, and that's important. And I'll tell you, my graduate studies, my Master of Arts degree from the University of the West Indies, Mona campus in Jamaica, is in communication for social and behavior change. So it looks steadily at, how we track, how we put deliverables in place, how we put metrics in place, how we really move toward behavior change, because it's not overnight. So it looked at health communication. It looked at, disaster preparedness, emergency communication, risk management. And so when we start to talk about health promotions, it sounds good. On paper, it does. But we cannot pretend that some new directorate, with having had health education unit there all the while, that needs constant funding from this government. It needs to have stable and increased funding, okay? So prevention has to be where all of us are, and that's in our schools, in our churches, in our workplaces. And I could only describe it as a cruel joke, Mr. Chair. And we keep telling Bahamians to eat healthy, because healthy foods are priced like luxury goods. And that's just a fact. And so at Shelf Eye, you have the wall of sugar and salt, and a low-income family, it's just so much inequity when it comes to being able to consume certain foods. And so we tell people to eat healthy. But that's like a cruel joke, because you could only afford noodles and corned beef and little bread and peanut butter. They cannot afford salmon and asparagus. But this is the thing. We must tell them, oh, eat healthy, eat healthy. But what could they do? You could only buy 3 pounds of chicken wings and try to cook it, along with some white rice or something, okay? And so these are real issues. And so when we look at the health promotion and wellness bill, Mr. Chair, we really have to look at, our labeling closely and how we really actualize some of this, okay? How we restrict the ultra-processed junk food in school canteens. We still have cars parked outside of schools, public schools across our island, and when they open up their trunk, it literally looked like a candy store, Mr. Chair. I can't speak directly to what happens in Grand Bahama, but I could tell you that any kind of candy you crave in, just pull up at any public school around 3 o'clock on a school day, and you could buy the candy, you could buy the soda, you could buy the chips, you could buy the cookies. How are we going to address these things in real ways to affect the health of our Bahamian citizens, Mr. Chair? And so we have to really look at how we crack down. And how many of us have, shopped at a grocery store and picked up an item that said for export only? Have we wondered, has it crossed our mind whether or not that's just for them to keep track of their products and their sales, or what that really means? Because why is it for export only? Why can't they just make one set of products with one set of packaging? These are the things we have to pay attention to. And health and wellness there's nothing partisan about it, Mr. Chair. There's nothing partisan. This is a national issue that we have to work together on, Mr. Chair. We have to work together on. And so when we import these things, we have to really think about our country, our future, because, Mr. Chair, the young Bahamian citizens and residents, they're our future. It doesn't matter how much we stand here and how much we might all like each other. When we are dead and gone, if the generation behind us, that comes behind us, is not healthy and not well, our country is gone. Forget rising sea tides and climate change. We won't have a country without its people. And that is why we have to care for the most vulnerable. We have to care for our children. We have to care for our elderly. for our persons with disabilities. We have to care for them all. And Mr. Chair, I'm happy to see that this dental professions bill is being laid because it's overdue. And oral health is not, cosmetic icing. It's really an important part of nutrition, speech, schooling, employability, and NCD prevention. Because we don't really realize that, but we depend on our teeth in order to even speak. We cannot make certain sounds without our teeth. That's just a fact. And so whether it's our nutrition, whatever it is, we need our teeth. We need our mouth, not just our teeth. Oral health is important. And so with our sugary diet, we are, poor access to care. In public facilities, there are only so many dentists, and again, getting an appointment is probably even worse than a surgical theater. And so not everybody practices good oral hygiene. And so if you're eating the same candies they selling to the school children, the same chips, the same cookies, and you're not brushing your teeth properly, you're not flossing, there's going to be issues. And so this is why health education is so important. Prevention is so important. Because it's one thing to always try to fix the problem, it's another thing to prevent the problem. Okay? And so this is an important bill that we have before us today. And so I commend the regulatory framework that really will elevate the standards while recognizing the full dental team. That's the dentists, the hygienists, the therapists, the technicians, the assistants, all of them. Okay? The entire scope of the practice. And so continual professional development is important because in all of our fields, the world is changing, times are changing. So you can study and go get a degree as much as you want. But things change from moment to moment. And that's why continued learning is so important, Mr. Chair. And so these things are not just about, being bureaucratic or whatever, but it's really about how we extend care to our citizens and residents, okay? And so this modernized dental statute will do just that, and I do support it, Mr. Chairman. And I talked about, when it comes to pharmacy and the pharmacy bill, we have to fix the supply chain issue, okay? It can't just be about paperwork. We have to really figure out how we order. We have to find ways to integrate technology fully into some of these systems, our public healthcare systems, so we could tell when, things are coming down. We could really, in terms of supply and demand, we can understand what's going on. Because we don't need to have excess in one drug available, so much so that it expires, and we have to dump it, but yet we're always short on other drugs. And so we really have to look at how we deal with these things. We have to make sure that, we diversify, because drug shortages around the world are impacting countries. And so we're no different, because at the end of the day, we're going to be impacted. So when we talk about trade and expanding we have to find ways to really buy quality, high-quality drugs from other markets or do whatever it takes to make sure that the supply chain is working properly and fully, and that we reorder when we need to, we watch our stock levels, and we really, ensure that our patients here, because while prevention is important and while we want to have a healthy society, the Good Senator said it. Health prevention is not a substitute for a good functioning hospital. And so we have a problem now that needs to fix, that we already created. But in addition to that, as time goes on, we're going to try to prevent it, especially starting in our schools and with our children, so they could grow up healthier. Mr. Chair, NHI, we talk about, universal coverage, and it's quite noble. And while, of course, with everything, there are challenges, and there are challenges in the UK and other places with it, and people waiting, but the reality is that what we have to remember is that universal coverage is a road paved with invoices. That's just a fact. And so while this National Health Insurance Bill proposes to unify and expand benefits, and the companion bill migrates some, I think 41,000 beneficiaries of the National Prescription Drug Plan into the NHI orbit, we have to know that while it all sounds and looks good and tidy on paper, on the ground, many private practices, report late or partial payments from NHI. And in addition to that, they say the goalposts keep shifting, because then they're introducing technology fees, introducing this fee, that fee, right? That makes it difficult and onerous. And so expansion without execution, that's the fastest way to break trust and bankrupt providers. So we need to pay people on time. You have to pay the people on time because you're putting their medical practice at risk. And we have to be transparent in terms of whatever fees we're going to charge. Okay? So we have to publish settlement cycles. We have to make sure, Mr. Chair, okay, that we pay the bills on time. And that's just a fact. Mr. Chair, I too recognize the importance, and I say it often, Mr. Chair, that the Bahamas is an archipelago. And it's so often that we find ourselves being very Nassau-centric. And so it's important to remember there are other islands, there are other Bahamian citizens and residents living on those islands, and they have a right to the same level of care that we do in the capital. And so equity requires reach. And so I welcome the addition of ambulances for the family islands and other investments in emergency transport. But these things must be paired with medicines, logistics, and that do not strand the clinic for want of basic drugs. Last summer, I know of a child on a particular island needed basic antibiotics for an issue and just couldn't, the clinic just didn't have it. So, Mr. Chair, we have to accelerate island-appropriate telemedicine. We have to empower the pharmacists on our islands with standing orders for chronic refills, okay? We have to have clear protocols, and they have to be in place. Like I say, you can't reach for the, hypertension medicine or reach for the diabetic medicine and find that it's not there. Because by the time as you write in and they send it from your province and all that, that's how much ever time the patient has been off that drug. That patient is at risk. So we have to ensure, even when it comes to evacuation, okay, we have to really improve the standard of care across our islands, Mr. Chair. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Wellness is built outdoors as much as it is in clinics. And that is why the state of our parks is a public health matter, because it is unacceptable on any level for the Beaches and Parks Authority to overshoot its budget, okay? Up to $31 million for the first 8 months of the fiscal, and yet families have to find broken swings and cracked courts and unsafe spaces. And as I said, and as a good age you would understand, these are national issues, Mr. Chair. Health and wellness is a national issue. This isn't about partisan politics. This is about Bahamians, Mr. Chair. And so if we truly believe in prevention, then safe, well-maintained parks are not nice to have. They are national gym membership. Not everyone can afford to go to a fancy gym out east, out west, Mr. Chair. Okay? Our national gym, that's our parks. So we need to order to spend, and we need to publish the maintenance schedules and make our parks worthy of the children of our Commonwealth. And so, Mr. Chair, this isn't some lofty goal. Just do your job and do it right. Mr. Chair, we have to get it right in our country when it comes to health care, okay? Because while a new hospital might sound nice, we need relief now. We need to care for what we have. We need to care for what we have. And so the money we spend on renderings, we could have spent on repairs. There's a plan in place to upgrade the current campus that we have. And there's parking challenges that doctors, patients, and visitors alike say. Some of that funds could have gone toward building a modest multi-level garage, okay? Because it could pay dividends in staff punctuality. Some people told me they circle and circle and circle trying to find a parking space to get into the hospital, to get to work. Patient access. You're in a hurry. You have to park. You have to hurry, get into the hospital. You can't even find a space. Mr. Chair, I don't know. Is my good senator here making a contribution from a seat? I need the chair to protect me, please. I need to be able to talk without distraction, Mr. Chair.
Senators, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And so, Mr. Chair, we need to have parking, okay? Because it's hard to preach wellness while patients and healthcare workers have to orbit the campus, like an aircraft waiting to land, just looking for space. Okay, Mr. Chair? And so, Mr. Chair, We don't need just a directorate or a plaque on the door. When we pass these 5 bills, we must also pass the test of implementation, okay? Mr. Chair, we have to get it right. And we have to fund what we brag about. Because, oh my goodness, nobody could beat this administration bragging, Mr. Chair. Cutting ribbon, smiling, taking picture, making video. But where the money at? Show me the money. Minister Alcides, we have to start to make these things a line item in the budget. Because it's no use having a photo op if it's not in the budget. Because how will we make it happen? How will we make it happen? We have to manage our healthcare system. We have to put the budget toward healthcare. We have to treat healthcare workers, you know, as the precious resource they are. We have to do it, Mr. Chair. We have to do it right. We have to make it right by our people, Mr. Chair, because it's about our people. The people are all we have. And so, Mr. Chair, I was raised to believe that a nation is judged by how it cares for its children, its elders, and those who cannot care for themselves, persons with disabilities and others. That is a traditional value, and it is as modern as tomorrow's ward round. Health and wellness, Mr. Chair, sits at the heart of a thriving society. The economy marches to the beat of the nation's pulse. What's wealth without health, when health is our wealth? So, Mr. Chair, we have to align our growth with our care, with our compassion. We have to match policy with procurement. We have to pair reform with routine. Then we can, in this Parliament, begin to build a health service worthy of the Bahamian people. Let's pass only what we will fund. Let's promise only what we will pay. Let's enforce only what we can supply. Then the next time we meet to debate on health, instead of trading laments, we will be trading outcomes, Mr. Chair. May we choose the hard work of actual solutions over the easy work of additional statutes. Mr. Chair, may God bless all of us. May God bless the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition. May God bless the Prime Minister, because the Bible says that we ought to pray for our leaders. May God bless the upper and lower chambers and their families. May God bless the citizens and residents of our Commonwealth, Mr. Chair, from Bimini to Inagua, Grand Bahama and Bimini to Inagua. Mr. Chair, may God bless the citizens and residents of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I thank you for this opportunity to contribute, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to serve my people in this upper chamber. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Maxine Seymour. Thank you. As many. Chair recognizes Senator the Honorable Michael Alcides.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for a brief wrap-up. I want to thank all senators for their contributions to the health compendium. I almost thought that sounded like a farewell. But we'll be back.
Farewell, not getting a nomination.
No, I didn't say that. But I thank all members for their contributions, and I think we can all agree, Mr. Chairman, that improvement is needed in our system, both in the physical infrastructure and in the human resource capacity, including the numbers of professionals that we have in there. And these bills are an attempt to make sure that we have in place the framework to at the beginning with wellness and healthy lifestyle, and education, and then as well addressing issues of regulation and oversight and improvements in the physical infrastructure, improvements in the way we acquire and procure so that we can realize savings that can then be put back into the system. And so we recognize that the system as it is needs improvement. And we can all recite instances you have, when we go and visit, or instances people come to us and tell us about experiences that they have had that are not good, and other challenges within the system. And what we are doing is, in bringing this companion, seeking to put in place the framework upon which we can build those improvements to our system. Bahamians do deserve a functioning healthcare system, Mr. Chairman, and the bills and the proclamations, the laws, they don't heal people, but they give us the framework upon which we can manage the system, properly account for the resources that we spend, make sure that we are getting value for money when we do invest in our system. And so this is very important, what we're doing today. And we all, I think I can say we all recognize some of the shortcomings that we have. Mr. Vice President, I have someone who's very close to me who spent 26 years in our public healthcare system, lay down in the same bed every night. Right? And so I know intimately the challenges when it comes to lack of resources and feeling that the job can't be done properly because we don't have all the things that we need. And so these are issues that are long-standing, and I think this is an attempt to address them. We know, for example, that the United States is unapologetic in recruiting our nurses and our teachers and offering them inducements that, it's challenging for a small country to match. And so we're faced with having to continuously train to replace those. And then because we can't train fast enough, we might have to go abroad and recruit some people to come temporarily. And then we become, in the middle of some geopolitical fight. And so the challenges are great, but this administration is committed, Mr. Vice President, to addressing them, because at our core, we do believe that proper health care, accessible, affordable, adequate health care is a basic human right. And that is something that we continue to work towards. Once again, thank all senators. We recognize the challenges, and that is why we're here today, in an attempt to fix some of these things that, when we look at some of the challenges, all we can say is we have to buckle down and get to work to fix them. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, thank you all senators for their expressions of concern. And, we are committed to doing what's necessary to make the improvements. And so I move formally for second reading and committal of a bill for an act to continue the National Health Insurance Plan and Fund established and existing under the National Health Insurance Act 2016, to extend the benefits under the plan and to provide as a minimum standard health benefits and other benefits to persons presently enrolled in the plan and to persons eligible and enrolled after the commencement of this act, to validate all acts done under the existing plan and fund, to repeal and replace the National Health Insurance Act 2016, and for connected purposes.
Thank you, Senator Alcides. It has been moved and seconded that the following bill be read a second time and committed. The bill for an act to continue the National Insurance Plan and Fund established and existing under the National Health Insurance Act 2016, to extend the benefits under the plan and to provide a minimum standard health benefits and other benefits to persons presently enrolled in the plan and to persons eligible and enrolled after the commencement of this act, to validate all acts done under the existing plan and fund, to repeal and replace the National Health Insurance Act 2016, and for connected purposes. As many are in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The motion is carried. The ayes have it. Ordered that the bill be read a second time and committed.
A bill for an act to continue the National Health Insurance Plan and fund established and existing under the National Health Insurance Act 2016 to extend the benefits under the plan and to provide as a minimum standard health benefits and other benefits to persons presently enrolled in the plan and to persons eligible and enrolled after the commencement of this act, to validate all acts done under the existing plan and fund, to repeal and replace the National Health Insurance Act 2016, and for connected purposes.
For the second reading of bills,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for second reading and committal of a bill for an act to repeal the National Insurance Chronic Disease Prescription Drug Fund Act, Chapter 350A, and to provide for the establishment of a new fund under the control and management of the National Health Insurance Authority to supply patients suffering from specified chronic diseases with safe, effective, and economical prescription drugs and medical supplies, and to improve the accessibility to and affordability of prescription drugs and medical supplies.
it has been moved and seconded. Second. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Order that the bill be read a second time.
A bill for an act to repeal the National Insurance Chronic Disease Prescription Drug Fund Act, Chapter 3508, and to provide for the establishment of a new fund under the control and management of the National Health Insurance Authority to supply patients suffering from specified chronic diseases with safe, effective, and economical prescription drugs and medical supplies, and to improve the accessibility to and affordability of prescription drugs and medical supplies.
For the second readings,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for second reading and committal of a bill for an act to promote healthy lifestyles and wellness, to empower the adoption of national, regional, and global public health policies, to reduce the incidence of non-communicable diseases and premature death linked to unhealthy food consumption and harmful lifestyle behaviors, and for matters connected thereto.
it has been moved and seconded. All favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Order that the bill be read a second time and committed.
A bill for an act to promote healthy lifestyles and wellness, to empower the adoption of national, regional, and global public health policies to reduce the incidence of non-communicable diseases and premature death linked to unhealthy food consumption and harmful lifestyle behaviors, and for matters connected thereto.
For the second reading of bills,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for second reading and committal of a bill for an act to repeal the Dental Act, Chapter 226, and the replacement thereof, to provide for the continuation of the Dental Council, to provide for the registration and licensing of dentists and dental auxiliaries, to provide for continuing education, to regulate the practice of dentistry, and for connected matters.
Second.
it has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Order that the bill be read a second time and committed.
A bill for an act to repeal the Dental Act, Chapter 226, and the replacement thereof, to provide for the continuation of the Dental Council, to provide for the registration and licensing of dentists and dental auxiliaries, to provide for the continuing education, to regulate the practice of dentistry, and for connected matters.
Thank you. For the second reading of bills,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for second reading and committal of a bill for an act to amend the Pharmacy Act.
Second.
it has been moved and seconded a bill for an act to amend the Pharmacy Act. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Order that the bill be read a second time and committed.
A bill for an act to amend the Pharmacy Act.
For the second reading of bills,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for second reading and committal of a bill for an act to repeal and replace the Segregated Accounts Companies Act.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Order that the bill be read a second time and committed.
A bill for an act to repeal and replace the Segregated Accounts Companies Act.
Second reading of bills.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for second reading and committal of a bill for an act to amend the Parliamentary Elections Act.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded for a bill for an act to amend the Bahamas Parliamentary Elections Act. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Order that the bill be read a second time and committed.
A bill for an act to amend the Parliamentary Elections Act.
Further second reading of bills?
Are there no second readings at this time, Mr. Chairman? But before I move that the Senate do resolve itself into a committee of the whole, I move that the business of the Senate do sit beyond the 1 p.m. hour.
It has been moved and seconded that the business of the Senate do sit beyond the 1 p.m. hour. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I now move that the Senate do resolve itself into a committee of the whole with Senator Eurecia Hepburn Forbes in the chair.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Senate do now sit in the committee of the whole with Senator the Honorable Eurecia Hepburn as the committee chairman. As many are in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The motion is carried. The Senate will now resolve itself into the committee of the whole with Senator the Honorable Eurecia Hepburn sitting as chairman of the committee of the whole in the chair.
Committee of the Whole.
Yes, Madam Chairman, with respect to a bill for an act to continue the National Health Insurance Plan and Fund established and existing under the National Health Insurance Act 2016, to extend benefits under the plan and to provide as a minimum standard health benefits and other benefits to persons presently enrolled in the plan and to persons eligible and enrolled after commencement of this act, to validate all acts done under the existing plan and fund, to repeal and replace the National Health Insurance Act 2016, and for connected purposes, I move that this very long title of the bill be agreed.
Is there a second? Okay. It has been moved and seconded that the long title of the bill be agreed. As many as in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The motion is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the short title of the bill be agreed.
Is
Second.
there? Okay. It has been moved and seconded that the short title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The short title is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that clauses 1 through 64 of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved that clauses 1 through 64 be agreed, of the bill be agreed. As many are as in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The motion is agreed. Clauses 2 to 64 be agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that the bill be agreed in its entirety, inclusive of the first, second, and third schedule.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the bill in its entirety be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The bill is agreed in its entirety.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now, with respect to a bill for an act to repeal the National Insurance Chronic Diseases Prescription Fund Act, Chapter 350A, and to provide for the establishment of a new fund under the control and management of the National Health Insurance Authority to supply patients suffering from specified chronic diseases with safe, effective, and economical prescription drugs and medical supplies, and to improve the accessibility to and affordability of prescription drugs and medical supplies. I move that the long title of this bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the long title of this bill be agreed. As many that are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The motion is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the short title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the short title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The short title is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that clauses 2 through 15 of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that clauses 2 to 15 of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The motion is agreed. Clauses 2 to 15 are agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that the bill be agreed in its entirety, inclusive of the first and second schedules.
Second.
It is being moved that the bill be agreed in its entirety, inclusive of the first and second schedules. All are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The motion is agreed. The bill is agreed in entirety, including clauses first and second schedules. Oh, my God.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We now move to a bill for an act to promote healthy lifestyles and wellness, to promote the adoption of national, regional, and global public health policies, to reduce the instances of non-communicable diseases and premature death linked to unhealthy food consumption and harmful lifestyle behaviors, and for matters connected thereto. I move that the long title of this bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the long title of this bill be agreed. As many are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The motion is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the short title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the short title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose say nay. The motion is agreed. The short title is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that clauses 2 through 20 of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that clauses 2 through 20 of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose say nay. The motion is agreed. Clauses 2 through 20 of the bill is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now move to a bill for an act to repeal the Dental Act.
The bill has been moved and seconded.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Back to the Health Promotion and Wellness Bill, Madam Chair. I move that the bill be now agreed in its entirety, inclusive of the schedule.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the bill is agreed. The bill is agreed. The bill is agreed in its entirety, including its schedule. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The bill is agreed in its entirety.
Thank you, Madam Chair, very much. Madam Chair, we now move to a bill for an act to repeal the Dental Act, Chapter 226, and the replacement thereof, to provide for the continuation of the Dental Council, to provide for the registration and licensing of dentists and dental auxiliaries, to provide for continuing education, to regulate the practice of dentistry, and for connected matters. I move that the long title of this bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the long title of this bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the short title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the short title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The short title is agreed.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I now move that clauses 2 through 49 of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that clauses 2 through 49 of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. Clauses 2 through 49 of the bill is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that the bill be agreed in its entirety.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the bill in its entirety be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The bill is agreed in its entirety.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We now move to a bill for an act to amend the Pharmacy Act, and I move that the long title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the long title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that the short title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the short title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The short title is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that the bill be agreed in its entirety.
Second.
Yes, sir. It has been moved and seconded that the bill be agreed in its entirety. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The bill is agreed in its entirety.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We now move to a bill for an act to repeal and replace the Segregated Accounts Companies Act, and I move that the long title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the long title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Chairman, I now move that the short title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the short title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The short title is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that clauses 2 through 95 of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that clauses 2 through 95 of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. Clauses 2 through 95 of the bill is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that the bill be agreed in its entirety.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the bill be agreed in its entirety. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The bill is agreed in its entirety.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We now move to a bill for an act to amend the Parliamentary Elections Act, and I move that the long title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the long title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the short title of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the short title of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The short title is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that clauses 2 through 20 of the bill be agreed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that clauses 2 through 20 of the bill be agreed. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. Clauses 2 through 20 of the bill is agreed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that the bill be agreed in its entirety.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the bill be agreed in its entirety. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is agreed. The bill is agreed in its entirety.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that Senator James Roll Turner do take the chair.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that Senator James Roll Turner do take the chair. As many are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. The motion is carried. Senator James Roll Turner will take the chair.
That was Gajundi second.
Mr. Chairman, I beg leave to report that the Committee of Whole has examined several bills and have made no amendments thereto.
Thank you, Senators. You know, these are the days where we thank God for technology, where even in remote locations you are aware of what's going on. All right. Honorable members, the chairman of the Committee of the Whole has reported that the committee has examined the bills, having made no amendments thereto. Third reading and passing of bills.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for third reading and passing of a bill for an act to continue the National Health Insurance Plan and Fund established and existing under the National Health Insurance Act 2016, to extend the benefits under the plan and to provide as a minimum standard health benefits and other benefits to persons presently enrolled in the plan and to persons eligible and enrolled after the commencement of this act, to validate all acts done under the existing plan and fund, to repeal and replace the National Insurance Act 2016 and for connected purposes.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the following bill be read a third time and passed. As many? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Order that the bill be read a third time and
A
passed.
bill for an act to continue the National Health Insurance Plan and Fund established and existing under the National Health Insurance Act 2016, to extend the benefits under the plan and to provide as a minimum standard health benefits and other benefits to persons presently enrolled in the plan and for persons eligible and enrolled after the commencement of this act, to validate all acts done under the existing plan and fund, to repeal and replace the National Health Insurance Act 2016 and for connected purposes.
Order that this bill do now pass and the title thereof be declared to be the National Insurance Act 2025.
National Health Insurance Act.
The National Health Insurance Act 2025. Further?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for third reading and passing of a bill for an act to repeal the National Insurance Chronic Diseases Prescription Drug Fund Act, Chapter 350A, and to provide for the establishment of a new fund under the control and management of the National Health Insurance Authority to supply patients suffering from specified chronic diseases with safe, effective, and economical prescription drugs and medical supplies, and to improve the accessibility to and affordability of prescription drugs and medical supplies.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the following bill be read a third time. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Order that the bill be read a third time and passed.
A bill for an act to repeal the National Insurance Chronic Disease Prescription Drug Fund Act, Chapter 350A, and to provide for the establishment of a new fund under the control and management of the National Health Insurance Authority to supply patients suffering from specified chronic diseases with safe, effective, and economical prescription drugs and medical supplies, and to improve the accessibility to and affordability of prescription drugs and medical supplies.
Order that this bill do now pass and the title thereof be National Health Insurance Specified Chronic Diseases Act, Prescription Fund Act, 2025. Further readings?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for third reading and passing of a bill for an act to promote healthy lifestyles and wellness, to empower the adoption of national, regional, and global public health policies, to reduce the incidence of non-communicable diseases and premature death linked to unhealthy food consumption and harmful lifestyle behaviors, and for matters connected thereto.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Order that the bill be read a third time and passed.
A bill for an act to promote healthy lifestyles and wellness, to empower the adoption of national, regional, and global public health policies, to reduce the incidence of non-communicable diseases and premature deaths linked to unhealthy food consumption and harmful lifestyle behaviors, and for matters connected thereto.
Order that this bill do now pass and the title thereof be declared to be Health Promotion and Wellness Bill 2025. Act. Sorry. Health Promotions and Wellness Act 2025.
Sir.
Yes. Thank you.
For the reading of bills?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for third reading and passing of a bill for an act to amend the Pharmacy Act.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Order that the bill be read a third time and passed.
A bill for an act to amend the Pharmacy Act.
Order that this bill do now pass and the title thereof be declared to be the Pharmacy Amendment Act 2025. For the reading of bills?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for third reading and passing of a bill for an act to repeal the Dental Act, Chapter 226, and the replacement thereof, to provide for the continuation of the Dental Council, to provide for the registration and licensing of dentists and dental auxiliaries, to provide for continuing education, to regulate the practice of dentistry, and for connected matters.
Second.
The bill has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Order that the bill be read a third time and passed.
A bill for an act to repeal the Dental Act, Chapter 226, and the replacement thereof, to provide for the continuation of the Dental Council, to provide for the registration and licensing of dentists and dental auxiliaries, to provide for the continuing education, to regulate the practice of dentistry, and for connected matters.
Order that this bill do now pass and the title thereof be declared Dental Professions Act 2025. Further reading of bills?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for third reading and passing of a bill for an act to repeal and replace the Segregated Accounts Companies Act.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Order that the bill be read a third time and passed.
A bill for an act to repeal and replace the Segregated Accounts Companies Act.
Order that this bill do now pass and the title thereof declared to be Segregated Accounts Companies Act 2025. Further readings of bills?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for third reading and passing of a bill for an act to amend the Parliamentary Elections Act.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Order that this bill be read a third time and passed.
A bill for an act to amend the Parliamentary Elections Act.
Order that this bill do now pass and the title thereof declared to be Parliamentary Elections Amendment Act 2025. Further reading of bills?
There are none, Mr. Chairman.
Consideration of House amendments, resolutions, discharge of select committees, notices of further meetings.
Renew all notices in the name of the government, Mr. Chairman.
Orders for the clerk? Adjournment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Before I move the adjournment, I would just like to thank all senators for their participation over the last 2 days. I think we had two productive sessions. And it is the intention, Mr. Chairman, you'll be aware that the House of Assembly has adjourned until October 8th. And so we intend to adjourn sine die and meet sometime subsequent to when the House meets again. I want to thank, the conference? All right. The 5th to the 13th of for the 5th to the 13th of September, colleagues, there will be the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association 47th Annual Conference being hosted by the Bahamas Parliament. And so the planning is in session now. I would invite all colleagues to mark their calendars and plan to be in attendance September 5th through 13th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel right here in the Bahamas. Before I adjourn, I would once again like to thank you, Senator James Roll Turner, for so ably sitting in the chair over the last 2 days. And I also want to thank I also want to thank Senator Dr. Eurecia Hepburn Forbes for so ably sitting in as chairman of as chair of the committee of the whole. And thank you very much for your efforts over the last 2 days. And as I said, Mr. Chairman, we intend to, though it be belated, I guess we can still call it a summer break. And so that's what we intend to do when we adjourn. And so it is my intention when we adjourn that the Senate do adjourn sine die. No? Okay. No, okay. So, Mr. Chair, I move that the Senate at its rising, and I wish all senators restful and refreshing break, and we look forward to continuing our work by the will of the Lord when we come here in October or sometime. We anticipate it'll be in October. Yes, will do. So, Mr. Chair, I move that the Senate at its rising do adjourn sine die.
Is there a second? Second. It has been moved and seconded that the Senate do now adjourn. As many are in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is agreed. The Senate stands adjourned. Sine die.